Your words are seeds, and your life is the garden. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're planting. When you speak, you're prophesying over your own future. The question is, what kind of harvest are you expecting? Because if all you speak is doubt, defeat, lack, and fear, don't be surprised when those very things take root and grow. Too many people are cursing their own destiny, not because others are against them, but because their own tongue is against them. They wake up and say, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I always fail, I never get a break. And the universe listens, heaven hears, and it all responds, not to your dreams, but to your declarations. You have the power to bless your life, and if you don't speak blessings over yourself, don't expect others to do it for you. You can't wait for people to approve you, promote you, or believe in you. You've got to stand up in your own soul and say, I am anointed for this. I am equipped for this. I am not average. I am chosen. I am favored. I am blessed beyond measure. When you speak blessings, you realign yourself with your divine identity. Your words have energy. They are not just sounds. They are forces. They are invisible agents that shape visible outcomes. Start saying what you want to see, not what you currently feel. Say, I am healed even if my body aches. I am whole even if I'm still in pieces. I am victorious even if I just got knocked down. Don't rehearse your pain. Prophesy your purpose. Stop repeating the lies of your past and start speaking the truth of your future. You may have made mistakes, but you are not your mistake. You may have been rejected, but you are not unworthy. What they said about you is irrelevant. What you say about you, that's what matters. There's a miracle in your mouth. You don't need more luck. You need more language. You don't need more friends. You need more faith declarations. Say this out loud. My best days are still ahead of me. I walk in peace. I rise in strength. I move in power. I live on purpose. I am not a victim. I am a vessel of greatness. And say it until your soul believes it. Say it until your mind stops arguing with it. Say it until your atmosphere shifts. Say it until the doors open. Say it until the walls fall. Speak blessings upon yourself and watch what heaven will do with your voice. Because your breakthrough isn't waiting on your situation to change. It's waiting on your confession to catch up with your calling. Every word you speak carries weight. Words are not just sounds we make with our mouths. They are containers of power. When you open your mouth and say something, you're releasing energy into the atmosphere. That's why what you say about yourself is more important than what anyone else says about you. You might have people around you who doubt you, who criticize you, who try to limit you with their words. But if you refuse to internalize those voices and instead choose to speak blessings upon yourself, you can override every negative word spoken against you. The most powerful voice in your life is your own. You hear yourself more than you hear anyone else. So if you're going to hear anything all day long, let it be words of life, of favor, of strength, of faith. Wake up every morning and don't just stumble into the day. Speak into it. Say, today is going to be a day of progress. I am aligned with my purpose. I have divine energy. I am healthy. I am focused. I am disciplined. I have wisdom for every decision I need to make. It doesn't matter how things look on the outside. You may be in a difficult situation. You may be facing delays, rejections, or disappointments. But if you keep speaking blessings, those words will become a seed that will eventually break through the surface and change your life. Don't let your circumstances speak louder than your destiny. Say what you want to see, not just what you currently feel. Feelings are temporary, but your words can shape something eternal. You are not defeated. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not forgotten. Speak the opposite of what fear is trying to feed you. When fear says, "You're not good enough," you say, "I'm more than enough, because what's in me is greater than what's against me." When doubt says, "You'll never make it," you say, "I am already walking in victory." Too often, people are waiting for someone else to encourage them, affirm them, or lift them up. But sometimes there's nobody around to do that for you. That's when you have to become your own prophet. You have to open your mouth and speak over your life, even if your hands are trembling and your heart is heavy. You declare blessings not because everything is perfect, but because you know you're connected to a source that can turn anything around. Say, "I'm the head and not the tail. I am rising even through resistance. I am stepping into new doors. Everything that belongs to me is being drawn to me right now. I am protected. I am provided for. I am powered by grace." Speak it until it becomes your mindset. Speak it until it becomes your reality. Speak it like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't need to wait until things change to believe. Believe now, speak now, bless now, and watch how everything begins to shift. There's a trap many people fall into without even realizing it. They spend more time rehearsing their fears than declaring their future. They lie awake at night replaying worst-case scenarios, letting their imagination become a factory of anxiety, building stories that haven't even happened. Fear thrives on repetition. The more you repeat it in your mind and with your mouth, the more power it gains over your spirit. You can't let your fears be the loudest voice in the room. When you rehearse fear, you strengthen it. But when you speak faith, you weaken fear's grip on your life. You cannot afford to let your mind become a theater for dread. You've got to take control of the script and start speaking what you want to happen, not what you're afraid might happen. Every time you say things like, "I don't think I can handle this," or "What if I fail?" or "Nothing ever works out for me," you're giving fear a seat at your table. You're inviting it to shape your choices, your relationships, your future. But fear is a liar. It magnifies problems and minimizes potential. It distorts your perception until you believe the worst about yourself, your circumstances, and your future. That's why your words are so important. They either empower fear or they empower faith. You have the choice every single day. Either rehearse the fears or declare the future. And the future is not something you wait for. It's something you speak into existence. Start saying what you desire, not what you dread. When the temptation to speak fear comes, flip it. Instead of saying, "I don't know how I'm going to make it," say, "I have everything I need to thrive." Instead of, "I always mess things up," say, "I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm getting better every day." The words may feel awkward at first, especially when your reality doesn't match your declarations. But remember, your words are not there to reflect your current situation. They're there to direct it. Speak your vision, not your worry. Speak solutions, not problems. Speak healing, not symptoms. Speak peace, not chaos. Rehearsing fear keeps you stuck in cycles. Declaring your future breaks you into new seasons. One of the enemy's most subtle strategies is to keep your mouth full of fear, so your future never hears the sound of your faith. Your voice is your weapon. Every time you declare your purpose, your identity, your destiny, you break the power of doubt and discouragement. Say things like, "I'm walking into greater things, my past is behind me, I have clarity for my next steps, I am surrounded by favor, good things are chasing me down, doors are opening for me." Speak those words even when your emotions don't agree, especially then. The mind will eventually catch up with what the mouth keeps repeating. If fear gets a daily rehearsal, it grows. But if your future gets a daily declaration, it manifests. Choose what grows. Speak your way forward, and don't let fear write your script. You become what you consistently speak. Words are not just expressions, they are builders. Every sentence you utter is laying a brick in the house you're going to live in. If you speak defeat long enough, don't be surprised when your life starts to feel like a battlefield. If you keep saying you're unlucky, broken, or not enough, your mind will start to organize itself around that belief. What you say shapes what you see. What you affirm becomes what you attract. And over time, your repeated words become your reality, not because they're magic, but because they condition your thinking, influence your actions, and align your energy with the outcome you've been speaking. Too often, people use their words carelessly. They joke about failure, speak lightly about being tired, broke, unlucky, or overwhelmed, and then wonder why things never shift. But life doesn't know the difference between a joke and a decree. Your subconscious takes everything literally. If you tell yourself often enough that you're not capable, your brain will filter the world through that lens. But when you speak life, even when you're unsure, even when you're afraid, you send a signal that you're choosing faith over fear, growth over stagnation, victory over victimhood. Speaking isn't just talking, it's choosing. It's deciding what kind of life you want and building it, one declaration at a time. If you consistently say, I'm always late, I never finish anything, I'm bad with money, I can't lose weight, or I'm terrible at relationships, then those statements become part of your identity. You start to live out what you've labeled yourself. But the good news is, you can relabel yourself with your words. You can rewrite the script. You can shift the identity you've unknowingly built by creating new patterns of speech. Say, I'm becoming more disciplined. I'm learning how to manage my finances. I'm committed to healthy habits. I show up on time and follow through. These aren't just positive affirmations. They are transformational truths that begin to rewire your brain and redirect your path. You don't need to wait until you feel confident to speak confidence. Speak it until you feel it. Speak it until it becomes your default setting. Speak it until your actions naturally follow. You don't become courageous by waiting. You become courageous by declaring it first. You don't become peaceful by hoping. You become peaceful by saying, I carry peace, I walk in peace, I speak peace. The mouth leads and the mind follows. This is why your words matter so much. They aren't just reflections of your life. They're the architects of your future. So speak power, speak discipline, speak growth, speak clarity. Say, I am becoming the best version of myself. Every day I move closer to my purpose. I am aligned, I am focused, I am favored. Repeat it so often that it starts to feel familiar. Because what feels familiar begins to feel true. And what feels true begins to shape who you are. Negative self-talk is a silent thief. It doesn't shout or slam doors. It slowly chips away at your confidence, your identity, and your sense of purpose. Every time you say something negative about yourself, even in passing, you're not just making a statement. You're making a judgment. You're speaking a curse over your own destiny. It might seem harmless to say, I'm so stupid, or I never get it right, or I'm always messing things up. But those words become seeds planted deep into your subconscious. And just like any seed, when given time and repetition, it grows. You can't expect to live a victorious life if your internal dialogue is constantly defeating you. What you speak over yourself sets the tone for how you see yourself, and how you see yourself sets the tone for how you show up in the world. There are already enough challenges out there. Don't become one of them. The world may not always applaud you, but you don't need the world's approval if you have your own. The truth is, most people are not being held back by circumstances, by people, or by the lack of opportunity. They're being held back by the stories they keep telling themselves. If you constantly tell yourself you're not qualified, eventually you won't even try. If you always say you're not good enough, you'll reject blessings before they even reach you. You'll talk yourself out of opportunities that were meant for you. You'll settle for less than you deserve, not because the door was closed, but because your own voice convinced you it wouldn't open. Negative self-talk is like setting up camp in your own way. It becomes a comfort zone, a familiar narrative that keeps you from becoming more. But comfort doesn't create breakthroughs, confrontation does. You have to confront every lie you've been speaking over yourself. You've got to stop entertaining those internal insults and start interrupting them. When the thought comes, I can't handle this, replace it with, I am stronger than I feel. When you hear, I always mess things up, answer with, I'm learning and getting better with every step. Your mouth is either your prison or your passport, and the difference is what you say in moments of doubt. You wouldn't let someone else talk to you the way you sometimes talk to yourself. So why tolerate that voice just because it's coming from inside your own mind? Start holding yourself to a higher standard. Begin speaking as if your future is listening, because it is. Say, I am capable, I am called, I am enough. You're not being arrogant, you're being accurate. You're aligning your words with your worth. And when you do that consistently, you begin to reverse the damage of every lie you've internalized. You begin to build a new narrative, one rooted in truth and power. Words are mirrors. Speak what you want to see when you look at yourself. Speak light into the dark corners of your mind. The minute you stop cursing yourself with your own voice, you make room for grace, for growth, and for greatness. Speak life, favor, victory, and divine purpose into your being, even when everything around you suggests the opposite. This is not wishful thinking. It's powerful positioning. The way you speak over yourself determines how you rise in the world. Too often, people speak based on how they feel, not based on who they are. But feelings fluctuate. They rise and fall like the tide. You cannot anchor your identity to your emotions. You must anchor it to truth, and that truth must be spoken. Your voice is a divine tool, not just for communication, but for creation. When you speak blessings, you activate alignment with the purpose planted in you before you were born. Speaking life isn't about ignoring reality. It's about speaking a higher one. It's about calling forth the version of you that already exists inside, even if the current circumstances don't reflect it yet. Speak as if you already walk in the fullness of who you were designed to be. When you say, I am walking in favor, you're not pretending, you're prophesying. When you declare, I am victorious, even while facing a challenge, you're not denying the storm, you're declaring that it won't sink you. You're not waiting for the external to validate the internal. You're letting the internal transform the external. Most people wait for a breakthrough before they begin speaking differently. But true transformation happens in reverse. Speak like you're blessed and watch how doors start to open. Speak like you're healed and watch how strength begins to return. Speak like you're chosen and feel the weight of unworthiness fall off. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You can either poison your purpose with doubt or water it with declarations of truth. If you want to change your world, start with your words. Speak favor over your finances, even when the bank account is low. Speak clarity over your mind, even when confusion tries to settle in. Speak peace over your heart, even when the storm is loud. Declare, I am not a victim of my situation. I am a vessel of vision. When you do this consistently, you rewire your thinking. You start to respond differently to challenges. You no longer shrink in fear. You stand in faith. You stop waiting for permission to rise, and you rise because you've already spoken it. You have a divine purpose. You are not here by accident. Every day you wake up is proof that your assignment is not finished. So why would you speak anything less than what you're created for? Say, I am aligned with divine purpose. Every step I take is ordered. I am positioned for greatness. Speak it boldly. Speak it when it's quiet. Speak it when it's loud. Speak it when you're strong and especially when you're weak. Because your breakthrough often begins with the boldness of your voice. Don't just think it. Say it. Speak it until your environment shifts. Speak it until your spirit agrees. Speak it until your life looks like what you've been declaring. So if no one else speaks life over you, do it yourself. If no one claps for you, cheer yourself on. If the world doubts you, drown it out with declarations of faith. You were never meant to live at the mercy of opinions, fears, or past failures. You were meant to rise. You were meant to walk in power, so speak like you believe it. Speak like it's already done, because your words are not just sounds. They are the seeds of your future. What you consistently speak, you will eventually see. So speak blessings, speak boldly, and never forget. Your voice is the key that unlocks the life you were born to live.